Hi, my name is Haley Wood, and this is my EDL 856 Module 14 case study, a new rule for the parents' organization. So first up, a few facts from the case. The parent organization at this school recently separated its affiliation from the national PTA, and when they started this process the spring before, the principal kind of was starting to have some concerns about issues that this may cause. The principal is meeting with the parent organization representatives to discuss an upcoming event at the school, their back to school night. He has some ideas of what he would like to see happen. And the parent organization at this meeting states and discusses that they want to be more involved in the school, specifically in decision and policy making. They have formed committees within their group relating to discipline and various things that they would like to see happen. The principal wants to involve the parent organization, but also with an understanding that the administration is held responsible and so should be the ones creating and deciding the policy. Some legal or ethical issues involved in the case. Presently, no one has been harmed by the proposed actions by the parent organization. The parent organization did kind of already form their committees before discussing with the principal, so they kind of went behind the back of the principal a little bit there, but they brought it up at this meeting with the principal and about the back to school night. Evaluations fall on the responsibility of the administration, and so depending on the teacher's contracts, you can run into a lot of legal issues there with parents becoming involved in some of those processes. Confidentiality may also start to become an issue regarding students and teachers. And so those legal responsibilities, once again, fall onto the school and the administration. So getting those parents to understand that there's a lot of legal issues that they may not have initially thought of that are involved. Even the lawyer, having a lot of background specifics to the school, may not have an understanding of these things. And so the board and the Teachers Association are also kind of those that are involved in those legal issues and will need to be contacted just to make sure everyone is under the same understanding. So what is happening? The parent organization wants to be more involved in the school processes, specifically in regards to policy and decision making, but the principal must explain to the parents that what their role is and do it in a way that will not upset the program currently involved with the school, and so to affect the students and what they're receiving. What are some facts of the case and what is currently unknown? So the people involved in the case is the parent organization and the principal. Those are the two main ones involved. With the parent organization, we do know that the president is a lawyer. We don't know too much else about the organization other than the committees that they have formed. And we do know that the principal has some sort of experience in the district. They were talking about the previous spring when this was all happening, so we know that the principal was there at least 1 year before. The teachers, students, and community are also involved in this, not directly, but will be affected by the decisions that come about from this case. The place that this is occurring. We really don't know much about the location or the demographics of the school. It's potentially urban due to one of the parents being a lawyer, but we really don't know too much about any of that at all. And we do know that the meetings are occurring at school amongst the parent organization and the principal. And the grade level of this is currently unknown. I kind of had some speculations of it being elementary school just due to some of the events they were talking about, such as back to school, because I do know every elementary school I've been involved in has that, whereas secondary, high school level doesn't maybe seem to have as many of those events. I know some do. That's just kind of a speculation I made, but it is unknown. We do know that there is some sort of discipline, teacher performance, and curriculum concerns because those parents are wanting to form those committees for those reasons. We know there's something kind of involved in those cases. Those parents haven't specifically said what their concerns are, but those are some speculations. So kind of to review and prioritize. So it is important to make sure that a relationship is maintained with the parent association. They provide a lot of assistance to the school, and so making sure that that relationship is not completely damaged from this situation is important to make sure. But it's also important to make sure that the parent association doesn't gain too much power. This could result in teachers leaving due to being unhappy, a lot of legal issues would come about. And it's just important that we always keep, first and foremost, students and their best interest at the front. And so there's just a lot involved if we don't keep them at the forefront of every decision that we make. So the stakeholders in this situation, we need to make sure we communicate with the Board of Education and the superintendent, especially with all the legal issues involved, just from the beginning, communicating with them what's happening, how the parents came to you as the principal, and they might have some advice to offer, but just making sure they're aware of what's going on is important. And it's also meeting again with the parent association and board members will be important to do throughout the case, just to make sure that they are understanding that they feel involved in the process. What things I would need to do to learn more, I'd want to know what parents are unhappy about. What specifically do they want to change? From what the principal said, his understanding was that the parents were fairly happy about everything other than their lack of involvement in their association. So there's never been something brought to the principal's attention before about things that they're not happy about. So I would just kind of like to specifically know, why are parents wanting to form these committees? What are they not happy about? And so some of those could be simple fixes within the school. So the decision, more power should not be granted. However, as the principal, it should not only be my decision. So that's where specifically getting the school board and the superintendent involved would help with that process. So this situation could greatly impact the stakeholders in the community as well as the students, depending on how it is handled. And so in this, when I was reviewing the case, I used my understanding and capacity, and I did, as a principal, worked within the school setting to achieve, to come to a consensus with the parents, and this all happened within that school setting. So I have several options in handling this case, as well as consequences that come with each one. So the first option would be to not make a decision and take no action. The second option would be I could allow the parents to get everything that they want, continue with their groups that they have formed, and just give them all of the control. The third option would be to not allow the parent organization to participate in any events. I could completely have their organization disband. Or the fourth option I came up with was collaborating with the parent association, and we're finding ways to give them more participation in different school events. I would also want to make sure I explain why we cannot give them the full control that they're wanting and address any concerns that they have. Some suggestions that I came up with were them being involved in things such as a math and reading night or a multicultural night, which I know some of the schools that I've been part of, things like that the parents may be feeling more involved in things would be kind of maybe what they're striving for. So to evaluate those options, the pros and cons that go with each of those decisions. So the first one, if I take no action, the pro would be I do not have to deal with any legal aspects or change how anything is currently done in the school. The con that comes with that is the parent organization would be unhappy because nothing is being achieved. That might kind of damage the relationship between the parents and the administration, the teachers, and kind of the students are being affected if the parents are ultimately completely unhappy with what went on. So my second option, if I allow the parents to have all of the control that they want, the pro would be that the parent organization is happy, they got exactly what they asked for. The con would be increased teacher work, such as when the parents wanted teachers to come and be involved every single night of the week in doing things. So my teachers are just going to increase their workload. That could lead to some teacher unhappiness. There could be some regards to the teacher contract and with their increased work, as well as the legal issues becoming involved with confidentiality in teacher contracts with the evaluations. And so if I let parents have the complete control, I will run into a lot of legal issues in relation to what the parents are doing. The third option, not allowing the parent organization to participate in any school events and them completely disbanding. The pro would be that the legal and teacher issues are avoided. Nothing changes in the school. The con would be the parents are unhappy. We're losing that valuable resource that they offer to the school. And once again, the students are suffering in this case due to the unhappiness of the parents. And they're also just losing out on the events that the the parent organization normally sponsors, our students are not getting those opportunities. The fourth option would be to collaborate with the association and give them that more participation, addressing their concerns and explaining to them. So the pro would be gaining more help and support in those new events or events that the school currently has. The parent association would possibly feel part of the school more, feel more involved, and they're also being explained the reasons from the school. The principal isn't just saying, I'm not just saying, no, you can't be involved in anything. I'm explaining the reasons why it affects our students and the logic behind not allowing it to happen. The con would be the parents aren't gaining the complete control that they wanted. So just depending on how that relationship, how the plan is worked out of how unhappy they are with the situation. So in this, I collaborated and cultivated relationships with those community members, specifically with the parent association members. And we always kept this to benefit the students. So that's kind of what was kept in the forefront, was just benefiting the students and engaging the parent association in a positive way as we did this. Step 8, so the best option that I selected was option number 4, which was when I collaborated with the association and gave them more participation in events. I addressed their concerns and I explained the reasoning. So in this, the parents' concerns were addressed. I kind of would find out from them specifically what they're unhappy about, why did they kind of make this sudden change and want to form these committees to evaluate teachers and be involved in discipline, kind of what stemmed all of this to happen. I would formulate a plan. I would involve the school board, the parent association, and the teachers in creating a plan that would benefit everyone, specifically our students. And that parent organization would continuously be involved in the process as long as it didn't affect any of the legal issues once again. And the teachers and school board would be involved in this process also throughout the whole thing. So my action plan, the first thing I would do is consult the school board on policies regarding parent organizations. I would currently see what we have in place in our school district and possibly work to create some policies or rules after this event occurs. I would also kind of research rules and regulations of other school districts. I would kind of reach out and see what other schools are doing. So hopefully having good relationships with others and already in the process would help make this easier to communicate with them and see what we can do for our school district. I would also meet to inform parents of the legal reasons for not allowing committees to exist within the school. But always make sure that they know that I'm keeping students first, and so the students always come first in our decisions. Just letting them know the confidentiality and just kind of everything that's affected in the rules that are currently in place that would not allow this to be the best way to continue on. I would gather information on the present concerns from parents. I would see if there's just maybe there was 1 or 2 parents that had concerns about discipline with their child's teacher this year. And so that's why they wanted to form a committee for the whole school. So I'd kind of look into some of those things. I would also collaborate with the parent organization to see where they can become more involved. If there's other events that the school sponsors that they can be part of. And I would just address the concerns with the staff and the school board, not keeping them in the dark about all of this, but saying, okay, so I was approached about the parents about our discipline. And so just kind of then working with the school to formulate those plans. So it's important to keep the school involved in the process. The teachers, I mean, like I said before, there might be some easy fixes. If there's one teacher that parents have concerns with the discipline, you could kind of work with that teacher to kind of make some changes there. Then I would meet with the parent organization to inform of the changes being made to address their concerns. Not being specific and not letting out more information than necessary, but just make sure they know that the school is trying to make changes to improve the education for the students and doing what is best for them. I would just continuously have the parent organization, teachers, and school board involved to ensure that no relationships are damaged in this process. I may have to meet with the parent organization and the teachers and the school board multiple times before the process is ultimately revised. And plan B, if this doesn't work out, I would then meet with the school board and the parent organization to discuss why the partnership is not working. It's just important that I keep the legal issues in the forefront and doing what is best for students and making sure. So just throughout my action plan, I used resources to create the plan. to benefit our students and how they're learning. I engaged with my community partners and just constantly had two-way communication amongst the Parent Association and other members.